Good afternoon. Welcome to the September 17th Clark County Fire District 6 Board of Commissioners meeting. I'd like to call this afternoon's meeting to order and ask that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Use the afternoon. At this time, I'd ask for any additions to this evening's agenda. No additions to the agenda. We'll need to read and approve, post as necessary, the minutes of our September 5th board meeting. So moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Correspondence this evening. I didn't see anything in the packet. Citizen communications. Citizens viewing this evening's or this afternoon's meeting can communicate directly with the board using the chat feature that will be monitored throughout this afternoon's meeting. Committee reports. Health and Safety, Chief Russell.
Yeah, you guys should have a safety report in your packet, fairly unremarkable this quarter. We had about 12 entries, most of those just precautionary write-ups. We did have one, I think a foreign body in somebody's eye that had to go to an urgent care to get their eye checked out. That wasn't on a fire scene, it was just like a random occurrence in a fire station. Other than that, unless you guys have questions on any of those, that is the end of my report.
No questions here. Commissioner, any questions? Good report. It's a good report. I read that as well. Risk Management Group, Chief Bauer.
Yeah, so risk management got a notification from Nicholson Associates, who is our broker to BFIS. BFIS notified the district as well as everyone within the risk management group that they are no longer offering management liability insurance to any of the agencies. So they're canceling that policy. They've also increased our deductibles a significant amount on both property and vehicles. So following that meeting and that notification, the risk management group went to executive session. They took no action, but they will be having a meeting tomorrow to talk about what they want to do and how they want to move forward. More to come forward. We can't move forward without management liability insurance.
We have to have that. That's interesting. They would drop
that. And that would be set to expire at the end of the year.
We're supposed to renew in November.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't give us much time to find a new broker as well.
shot.
Okay. More to come. Thank you. EMS District 2 report, Chief Bauer.
So EMS District 2 met last week. They discussed going into an interlocal agreement with the fire agency so that they could dispense the funds from the fine money back to the fire service agency. So we'll learn more about that in October meeting. Hopefully sign those agreements and have those funds released.
They made any headway on retaining a company or an individual to review our situation?
Yeah, so they want to run a whole consultant process. They don't want the fire chiefs to run that process. So we gave them consultants bids. The bid that came in the lowest was Public Consulting Group, I think is what they were called. And I don't know if they'll go with them or not, but the chiefs asked for them to postpone making a decision on that so we can work with amongst the chiefs and see how we want to proceed forward. More to come.
Thank you.
And consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Chief's report. Chief, if you just want to walk through those items there.
Sure. So August 2024 overtime was not good. It's the most we've paid out in overtime since I've been chief. And probably the most I've seen. $282,641.13. If you remember though, some of that is fair coverage and that is being reimbursed by the fair, although that will go in the general fund, but it's been expended out of our line item budget. The other issue with that is we paid about $215,000 total in shift replacement. That's from firefighter to battalion chief. And I'm told when the new 9 individuals go on shift, that should be reduced. So hopefully next month is better. As far as August 2024 budget performance report, we anticipate that we would have expended 66.7 out of both those funds, EMS and fire. Out of fire, we've expended 53.5% and out of EMS 54.8. And then I am gonna turn it over to Chief Newberry to give you guys the facility report. There's a memo in your packet and he can go over it more in depth.
Thank you. So, this can be a discussion or however you guys would like to ask questions or whatever, but I'll just kind of start going through, this memo with you, and high points and talk about the money. So, we're about, 3 months away from being completed with the project, barring any major, delays. And, we are on budget on the contract, except for the fact that we are running over budget of some of our change orders. So the way that we have change orders, the way that change orders happen to us is these are things that the contractor identifies in the project, says, you know, these are things that either weren't in the plans or they weren't obvious in the plans or they just were omitted from the plans. And we've kept track of each of these change orders and then kind of accounted for each change order as to who's, I mean, we're all obviously ultimately responsible for all, but we've identified who would account for each change order. So through those change orders, we've identified that the architect is probably responsible for about $187,000 with 39 of the then there are architect and owner ones where these are things that both of us equally are at, you know, fault, I guess, not the right word, but you know, we're the ones that are responsible for those. And there are 4 of those at about $27,000. Then there are change orders that happen because the conditions of the building are just different than what we anticipated. And those are sometimes big ones, like you open up concrete floor anticipating that's gonna be 6 inches and it's 24 inches, and now you have to, it's inside, so you have to get in there with saws, and sledgehammers, and a bunch of labor and that kind of stuff. And so of all the change orders, there's about 11 of them that are attributed to the conditions of the building that weren't otherwise known for about $48,000. There was one code change with the elevator that just happened between the time we got permits, by the time we submitted for permits, the time we got permits, and that one was at 14,000. And then owner change orders are things that you know, one of the big ones obviously is the concrete. And then there's things like, yeah, we now decided we wanted to put a TV here in the PT room and let's make that happen. The wood was really nice underneath the patio roof, and so we didn't want to paint it, we wanted to stain it. Other change orders there. There are 19 of them that are owner. $48,931 for change orders outside of the concrete. That concrete is something that the board approved back, I believe it was February, I can't recall for sure, but you approved that to 125,000. And we're pushing up against that at 118,000. So
Does that panel cost include the additional ones we're talking about tonight?
we pushed it up to that threshold that you approved, and then we're gonna have to come back and ask for more.
Thank you.
So change orders cost a ton of money. There's the cost of the materials and the work, but then also in our contract, there's profit on materials, profit on labor, profit. It's just change orders are more expensive than they would have been had they been included in the original contract. It's an unfortunate reality of business, but the job is to try and control those as much as we possibly can. And we have done that. If you go through the list of change orders, you'll see several of them where we have negotiated with the contractor or found creative solutions that wouldn't require the change order. Or, for instance, there was one change order where the architect called out for a fixed pane window in a place where it's obviously not supposed to be a fixed pane window. And we had to replace it with a sliding glass window. Well, the chief was able to negotiate with the architect that they were going to cover much of those expenses. We would be required just to pay for the window itself that would have already been purchased. So, but there's still change order costs associated with that change order because there's still labor and there's painting. So, there are some doors that were missing and the contractor said, oh, they're on this page of the plan, but they're not on this page of the plan. So we negotiated with them that basically you're stuck with that. But there's other ones that we say, you know what, there were some doors and windows that were taking forever to get, but as we talked about this before, it kind of, you could pay your way to the front of the line, and we did that. So just a whole host of reasons for change orders, and we try very hard to control them. But unfortunately, we're at that point where we have expended our entire contingency. So during the budgeting process, we develop a budget for the project, and the general contractor that bids the project, hopefully it's under what we had planned for, and it was. So the difference between what they bid and what we planned for is budget, or is the contingency. So we planned for 7.5% contingency plus allowances, which are things like this furniture, you know, the whiteboards or the TVs or things like that. And we can talk about on furnished items first that have gone over. So things like the generator, we anticipated the generator was going to be a certain amount, about, I can't recall it back, but I think about 130,000. It ended up being 180,000. So right there, you have a 25-30% over right there that you're hit with. That eats up your contingency rather quickly, but in big chunks like that. The furniture came in what we had anticipated it was going to. We didn't get fancy furniture, just that's what our best models pricing during the planning process along. So we had to go. So you hope that you make that ground up later in the project, but sometimes you don't, as the case now. And then, of course, change orders have been pretty horrendous, and we have exceeded our 7.5% contingency because of those change orders. So that is it in a nutshell. What the status of this is. I imagine that the fire chief is going to ask you to consider putting money into the project. You know, as the numbers have worked out so far, we believe that on the outside edge, you know, if we were to be very liberal with what we thought the change orders were going to be, we could end up being about 6% over budget from what we had planned, which it's not something I want to tell you, but it's something that's reality. So
the bottom of assumptions,
yes,
not settle on something specified. Phone system fitness, you did placeholder estimates in there as part of the additional that we need.
yes, it should be. So right now, for instance, I believe that we assumed that the phone system was about $42,000, but we haven't settled on one. So it might be $0 or it might be more. You just don't know. The assumptions also, you know, are based on change orders using a similar burn rate to what we have up to this point. We have a significant change order that's working through right now that's hopefully not going to be as much as we were initially thinking. The chief has met with the architect and the county and general contractor to help. Basically, they've been able to rework the occupancy types of these different areas of the building so that we may not have to go to this extreme change order, which would have really, which could still, but really could mess with our budget because it's removing the ceiling tile ceiling and putting a drywall ceiling, which is expensive enough, but then all the light fixtures, diffusers, speakers, everything that goes along with that has to change. And those things are not refundable. So we're working through that. I think we're gonna have some success, but because it's not known, I had to make some assumptions.
Part of the reason of the overage was the concrete,
Concrete's
part of it.
included in that.
and that's on us.
Yeah, that's something we chose, but it still comes out of contingency.
Sure, yeah, but we had to do it.
Yeah,
Just so the board's aware that $4 million of anticipated total cost to finish the project is liberal, we're hoping. Like Chief Newberry said, he had to get some estimates on that. I'm hoping we don't have to make any transfers of funds, and we can cover it with what we have in our capital budget, but if we do get to that point, I'll come forward to the board with a plan for transfers.
You don't need anything from us tonight
That's
because of that.
It's just information.
and so, and I don't want you to be scared by that $4 million number at the very top. That is what's left to pay, but that's like, we've only spent 6 against the 2 KG contract, so we already have 3 still that we're supposed to pay, so the overages that we're talking about are much less than 4 million. But so about 6% of 9.5 million would be the number that we're right now, so.
Models aren't easy.
Oh, that's,
They change codes, it's not easy. You have concrete to replace, it's not easy. Was the tree removal outside of this?
So the tree removal on the north side was part of the contract. We're looking at removing some trees on the south side of the product of the building. That will be separate from the contract. It's not included.
So that one, the trees removal was included, and grinding the stumps and all that, and replacing it with something that'll grow quickly, so the guys can go out on the patio and
Yeah.
people won't look at them. Okay, that's good. So are you working with the dentist on the south side then to see if,
The chief's been working with the dentist to talk about costs and what we are proposing, how many trees we're proposing. It's not like the dentist would also like to have something removed too, so we're with them, sharing some of the expenses, but
ruining the fence or breaking up concrete?
yes. So I've got 4 bids. I just haven't had to put them all on the table.
Not cheap.
well, thank you for the update and outlining this. Appreciate your diligence on, outlining the responsibility and the issues that have occurred.
Love for you guys to come take a tour if you want.
I want to.
Yeah, sounds good. Any questions, additional questions on that?
No, it's just price of doing business, I guess.
Old business. Board of Commissioners meeting change time?
Yeah, just there was a question on the board last meeting on if that took a change in policy, and it does not. Policy doesn't state.
Okay.
No action.
Thank you. New business? Region 8, Park Commissioner meeting?
Yeah, so the district received notification from Commissioner Bartel at Parkford that there will be a Region 8 Commissioners meeting on October 3rd at 6 p.m. in Toledo at the Toledo Senior Center. You get a head count of what commissioners would like to attend by September 30th. So I sent a calendar invite out today.
We'll have good food too, trust me. I know, Dave and I are going, no, I don't.
Check the schedule. I'll get back to your email on that. Garage door purchase?
So Station 61, this is not part of the remodel, this is just part of running the fire station. So, Chief Newberry's been working on, replacing the doors as they needed to be, the garage bay doors. We have 3 doors that are left to finish this project and get all new doors in that building. And, not new doors, but the mechanical part for the doors.
So that's great.
We could do just one door now and two doors next year, but it costs us extra to bring in the lifts and the workers and everything else. We'd like to just do it all at once, finish up that project. So if the board chooses to move forward, the total for the 3 replacements that we need to finish the project is $19,633.83. That exceeds my threshold. So we need a motion.
What is a light curtain?
Light curtains are, you know, on your garage door at home, have an eyeball and eye.
Oh.
So,
Oh,
yeah, these are tall, so that they set.
So an engine won't hit it? Is that what it's for? Oh, okay. What, are they gonna be they're gonna be painted when we get them in the same color as they are now?
These are not doors,
Just the operating.
Just the hardware, I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention.
door openers.
That seems like a lot for just hardware. That's okay, I thought we were gonna get some doors too.
The
Okay.
doors are, they're rather expensive, maybe 15, 20,000.
And we've replaced some of those in the past, I know.
Oh, yes. By all means.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the upgrade of our doors at Station One for $19,633.83.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. I think we replaced a few a couple years ago as well. Concrete additions.
So, the board initially approved the major concrete, rehab that we did, but we have some panels that still need replacing. So we'd like to just get this project finished up with the Station 6 remodel. If we finished all the concrete, completed the concrete project, it would be a total of $42,150. That is, outlined as a change order within the contract, so you would need to approve that change order because it exceeds my threshold.
And if I might just start at one point, we've been very conservative with these panels. If they have a single crack running through them, we're not replacing them. It's not that big. You know, if they're in parking spaces, they're not getting a lot of use, we're not replacing them. These are considerable breaks that you have 3 or 4 lines going out, or there's just a host of reasons, but we're not doing everything, we're doing what we need to, and I think this is definitely going to wrap up the concrete work, but it's not all.
Well, the last time I did a walkthrough with you, we looked at the concrete and especially on the north side, it was terrible.
They replaced the majority.
Saw that. Looks good. So there's nothing, I'm looking at your map and I appreciate the green, yellow, red map. Whoever did that. Those areas behind the truck bay make sense that. My question is on the south side, are we placing those because of tree damage? And if we don't take the trees down, the new concrete will get damaged, or do we know?
So, the first thing is that I think we probably will take the trees down. And while could attribute some of this to the tree's roots, it's very similar to what it is throughout the rest of the project.
Okay.
What you have here is a different building standard back in 91 when this was built. And you
That was the
have
project
a
manager.
layer of sand underneath the concrete panels instead of compact rock. And it's just,
They told us we poured 8 inches thick, it wouldn't be a problem, but go ahead.
yeah, well, yeah, anyway, it is a problem, so,
32 years isn't bad.
No.
So
Not so long.
makes sense. I just get it all
Uh,
done now if you would.
The timeline to replace these is before the trees get removed, or when are we hoping to do
That
that?
doesn't make any difference.
it depends on if we go forward with tree removal. We're trying to race the weather a little bit, so I think we would probably have these panels replaced first. And then tree come out secondly. The strength on this concrete is pretty remarkable. It's going to withstand any of the equipment that is put on it to take the trees out, like there's a crane involved, some trucks, but this has a 42. It's got a 4,000 pound design strength, and we're hitting 5,500 pounds. Okay, pretty great.
Gonna be cheaper to do it now than later.
Absolutely.
We have the funds to cover that, capital funds, we okay still? I just don't get it not all done at once, if you're okay with
I
that.
would agree, yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we replace the marked or damaged concrete pads at Station One for the amount of $42,150.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good report. Thank you. You all.
Executive session. The board will be moving into executive session. That'll be in accordance with RCW 42.30.110 parentheses G to evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or to review the performance of a public employee. That should last,
10 minutes.
yeah, we'll go 30. We'll go 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah, let's go 30.
At 4:50. Board met in executive session and took no action. Roundtable, good of the order?
I got that.
I don't have anything. Either chiefs have anything? All right. With that, we need to authorize September issuance of payroll warrants. Clark County Treasurer, authorize September payroll direct deposit treasurer's check. Authorize September deposit of federal and FICA medical withholding treasurer's check. Authorize pre-authorization invoice transmittal and authorize payment of current bills.
So
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.